I think there is a big, for kids, I think, we are learning what happens, like maybe when you over shelter them or don't give them enough
Yeah.
option for adventurous play and learning the situations for themselves, and are constantly looking for adult verification. And in the same way, it's sort of, if all of your team members are constantly looking for verification and permission, and if every single, citizen is constantly, before they do anything, looking for permission, it is a different society, right? It is a different way to run society and things like that. And I do think
I
that is
would,
the impact of like education.
yeah, I would say it's a good way to grind society to a halt in terms of advancement. If you start to, I mean, you see that. I mean, the more the bureaucracy builds out in government and regulation occurs, the more industries start to grind to a halt. You just have a tremendous level of inefficiency in trying to do anything, and a massive amount of, cost associated with it because you have a tremendous number of decision makers and inspectors and paper pushers that are involved in every single project, that it just makes it so that they all have to get paid, and that cost has to get passed down to somebody. And you get issues like what you're seeing in, where we live, where 40% of the cost of building the apartment is just bureaucracy, you
Yeah.
know, permitting and et cetera, paper pushing,
Yeah, maybe
inspections.
maybe not getting up to the government level, but even just imagine at a company level, right? Like that's what, in bullshit jobs, right? You've got the taskmasters and the box tickers. Like there are these nicknames for all of these kinds of like roles that, are just kind of doing bullshit, and they're just kind of they're creating more work for the sake
Busy
of work,
work.
right? And it does happen sort of naturally in these kind of situations. And I think it's catching that. It's like, do you have a country full of bullshit jobs? Do you have a business full of bullshit jobs? And it's sort of like, well, how did that happen? And I think with education, we get to sit, sort of in the best of both worlds situation, right? Where it's like, yeah, we don't want people going off on their own and representing the company or the country or doing anything dangerous or doing anything that's harmful to other people. But at the same time, we want to solve this not just through monitoring and permissions and having them ask somebody else for what to do and how to do it. We want to, solve this problem, or make this problem more efficient, or the solution to this more efficient, by giving each individual person a little bit more power, a little bit more knowledge to be able to solve the problem in a way that's in line with the bigger picture vision, that's safe, that doesn't harm anybody. And I think that is that's the education solution. There is, we can monitor more, we can regulate more, we can put in more things that you have to check off the list, and then you might actually be safer, and you can take all of those things away. And what happens then, right? Like, there could be a lot of problems when you take away these lists. Like I said, the lists themselves were an innovation, and they are really important to the way that our countries function. But if you're going to start taking things off the list, you can't do it without at the same time empowering, providing more resources for the individual people who are executing, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting balance because at the end of the day, you're never going to mitigate risk or eliminate risk entirely. I mean, you can, and you kind
But
of have to strike a
also,
balance between some level of productivity and some level of, training people not to make mistakes, or creating so much bureaucracy and checklists to make people so they don't make mistakes, but then actually having some sort of productive output at the end. Like the bureaucracy can't come at the expense of productive output, because then everything just grinds to a halt.